Welcome back, everybody. My name's Marilyn Burnett. I am your tarot reader and astrologer here with the messages for our first full week of 2024. So how did your New Year's kick off? And we've still been in Mercury retrograde shadow, but slowly and surely we are moving past that. This week we'll see the end of that. And then we are going to see the end of Uranus retrograde later in the month. So we have some things to look forward to, as will be all hands on deck and all of the planets moving forward to help us move forward with our 2024 goals. If you need help figuring out your 2024 goals, I have a great package that takes a really deep, extended look into the major transits for the year ahead, the eclipses, where things will be shaking up in your life in a big way. Plus, we have several important planetary connections throughout the year ahead that you'll want to know where those are happening. And of course, all the new moons and full moons as well. So check it out on my website. Look for your 2024 session. And know that even if you don't book a session, I do have an article out there for 2024 with a high-level summary of what's happening this year. And you can tap into a free planner that I have created that you can use with your own chart to fill in the blanks and see where you can expect changes this year as well. All right, so with that, let's get started taking a look at the energy for this week. Now, on Monday and Tuesday, speaking of that lovely Mercury energy in Sagittarius, it will be squaring with Neptune in Pisces. So squares mean we have to change something. And a square that involves our thinking, our speaking, maybe even our traveling, maybe you have travel plans. Something about those may need to change in the first few days of the week. Now, sometimes the square can be really positive because it can break you free from something where you've been deluding yourself, wearing too many pairs of rose-colored glasses, and they need to be removed. So sometimes squares are, a beneficial time, and this could be that for you. Now, if you happen to tap into this in the other way, well, you might be trying to delude yourself. So don't fall into that trap. Just be aware, tune in, and stay open-minded and open to change about the ways you've been thinking. Another beneficial energy that we have here that might be helpful is Mars in Capricorn, which we say is a place where it's exalted and happy. Although I still feel like Mars is fire and this is earth, and there can be some sluggishness involved, but there's also this energy of determination and hard work. And this is a great time for goal setting when you have Mars in the sign of Capricorn that rules over our careers. And it's speaking in harmony with Saturn at 3 degrees of Pisces, which is the ruler of Capricorn. So this is a really important time to be setting goals for your business for the year ahead, because Saturn gives you the structure, the planning, the discipline, and Mars gives you the motivation. So take advantage of this energy here, because it's going to be with you for a couple of days exact, and then of course it will start to dissipate a bit. But now's the time to start getting things kicked off, and especially as we get into looking at the new moon that we also have in Capricorn. So my feeling, and we'll talk about it more on Thursday, is this is actually the ideal time to take advantage of setting your intentions for the new year. So we'll get to that as we talk about Thursday. All right, so let's move us forward to Tuesday. On Tuesday, you're going to notice that we still will have Mercury in its square to Neptune, but it'll also be joined by the moon. So when the moon and Mercury speak together in a conjunction, this can help us because we've got our intuitive self and our mind working together, being on the same page, which can be extremely helpful. So take advantage of that. And, you know, Sagittarius energy is being able to see the bigger picture of whatever is going on, depending on the house that you have this in your chart. We'll still have, like I said, the influence of Mars and Saturn, although Saturn has technically moved a little bit forward into the 4-degree phase, which is still the post-shadow period of Saturn's retrograde from last year. We need to see Saturn hit 8 degrees to be fully clear of that energy. Let's jump ahead so we'll get some more exact challenges here and help as we move into Wednesday. So Wednesday, we see the moon has moved on to have its conversation with Mars that now has caught up and is speaking again with Saturn. So again, this is ideal energy. Just before the new moon, you have this really positive, fired up intuition. Your feelings, your emotions, they're controlled, and having that control helps you get past the actual feelings that can sometimes keep you trapped, and instead use your intuition to get past any fear and set some goals. So that energy looks really great on Wednesday, especially in the hours just ahead of the full moon. Now, you're also going to see that the sun here at 19 degrees of Capricorn is having a positive conversation with Uranus, still retrograde, pretty slowed down now, and it can bring breakthroughs. Uranus is inventiveness, and it is excitement, and it's sudden changes. It could be sudden financial changes that are helpful to you. Could be the announcement of your bonus for the year and it's better than expected. You could do well in the stock market. You could have a new exciting job or career opportunity. Remember, the sun is how you shine in the world, and how are you shining from a business perspective has everything to do with the sun in Capricorn. So say yes to whatever new and interesting opportunities present themselves to you on Wednesday, because I think you'll be really glad that you did. So we're going to spend a bit more time as we look at this new moon in Capricorn and really talking about everything that's going on here and how we can be setting intentions. So I'm going to move this a bit so that you can see the exact connection here. So we've got the sun and the moon together at 20 degrees of Capricorn. And of course, every new moon is a reset for our self, right? This is our sun, our soul self, how we're shining in the world, and our emotional and our intuitive self that come together, right? And create this reset moment. The moon gets reset once a month in each sign to start over. So it's a blank slate, and that's why it's a great time to be setting intentions, as there is no light on the moon that we can see. We've talked about Capricorn so far. This is really the top of the chart when it rules the 10th house. This is why it's our career, our fame, our notoriety, our reputation. So something about those areas, Capricorn, hard work, determination, structure, and earthiness, a groundedness that you can tap into. And in fact, I recommend you work with earth as you create your new moon intentions, such as potting a plant, repotting a plant, bringing new plants into your home because if it's the winter weather. Some of you may not be able to be outside connecting to the earth, but that doesn't mean you can't connect to the earth through a potted plant indoors. And speaking of that, I find this one of the favorite ones where you can actually write out your new moon intentions, handwrite them, and bury them in a pot and let it create its seeds and root and then come to fruition. All right. So you can know all of that and more. I have a few sessions left before we're done covering all of the zodiac signs in the new moon class that I offer. We changed it up, so I still have some time this week where that's going to be offered. If you want to join, check it out. It's on the front page of my website. What you'll notice as we look here at the planets and what else is around the 20 degrees is exactly at 20 degrees are the nodes. So that means there is something fated and something you have to change in order to connect with this energy and this new beginning. And fate may step in and cause a change in your career, for instance, because what you're doing now isn't in alignment with the goals of the North Node and the South Node, right? South Node is us letting go of situations, partnerships, contracts, where things are not fair and balanced for us. And it doesn't allow us as an individual to be strong and independent. So something, depending again on what house you have this happening in, is about to change in a big way. Now, it will change in a bigger way depending on what planets you have this making direct contact with. So anything you have really at 20 degrees obviously will be significantly impacted, especially if it's at 20 degrees of Capricorn, maybe 20 degrees of Cancer. Then those placements are squaring with the nodes, and I give the nodes about a 5-degree orb. So anything from 15 to 25, you have the potential for something to be dramatically different as a result of this energy of the new moon. Now, will it happen exactly on the new moon date? Not totally, but it can, and it definitely will by the time the light of the moon is starting to glow again. So that is important. Of course, we've got Pluto here sitting at 29 degrees of Capricorn as well, trying to finish up its work here before it moves into Aquarius on the 20th and stays there till September 1st. Anytime something's at 29 degrees, the work is more intense. Capricorn also does rule governments and transformation and power and fear. So expect that to continue for the next couple of weeks. And I would say pay particular attention to Pluto while it's in these particular degrees, because this is the degrees that Pluto will cover in its retrograde from September through mid-November, which of course is going to carry us through the election cycle. So see what's going on in these next 2 weeks in particular, and then watch that be revisited as we get closer to September 1st. All right. Having an interesting conversation sitting here at 19 degrees is that Uranus connection. So the sun, of course, and the moon are still speaking in harmony with Uranus, bringing surprises. So there's more sudden changes in surprise energy that goes along with the squares to, which creates a T-square to the nodes. We have Uranus here as well. Now, Uranus is also, you can't see it as well on this, but this faint green line is what we call in conjunct or quincunx, and that is to the South Node in Libra. So there's something about the past. It's something about people or relationships from your past, maybe people that you worked with in the past, that are going to cause this sudden, unexpected change. Now remember, it's fate, right? We're dealing with the nodes. It's not really something that you can fight, but it is something that you have control over how you respond to. So it's going to be very interesting. So we have some helpful energy here as well. You'll see that Venus is in Sagittarius at the midpoint, 15 degrees, and speaking in harmony, the trine, the blue energy is harmonious with Chiron. Chiron's getting closer to the North Node. As these two come together, there's fated events that have to do with healing and independence. So keep an eye on these two, but we may get a little bit of a hint about what that work will be as these three speak in harmony during this new moon as well. Now, this is healing yourself. This is giving yourself some love, right? And it's something that you're going to feel very passionate about. This is all fire energy. All right. So that's good, exciting energy that's going on. And then some more very helpful, right, is that Mars energy now has moved a little bit farther. It's at 5 degrees, so still speaking in harmony with Saturn. And now Saturn and Mars are also speaking in harmony with Jupiter, who's been sitting at this 5-degree mark, the place that we had the full moon lunar eclipse, the place that we had Mercury go retrograde, Jupiter go retrograde. So now we're really about to see some big picture that is what all of 2023 was really about. So this is a pretty intense trio that is combining together to support whatever needs to be changed at this time. So I said, Mars is motivation. Mars in Capricorn can be, government that is, or government leader anyway, that is feeling strong and powerful and wanting to make a difference, for instance. That Jupiterian energy is very altruistic. And Saturn, of course, gives the structure needed for whatever plan you have to be executed. So this is a big new moon energy, and this is why I think this is a better time to create your actual New Year's intentions. Now that you've created the ones that you didn't stick to in the first 10 days, now you can start again. And the other thing I love about the energy is it's 111. So it's January 1 on the 11th. 111 is an angel number of new beginnings. So there is something so important about this opportunity that you don't want to shy away from. So open-hearted, open-minded, and spend your time setting, purposeful intentions associated with the sign of Capricorn and with the energy of the house that this is happening, and wherever you need to make changes, where you see these red lines, now is the time to make those kinds of changes and just be open to them, because the universe is always working out for me, is what you should be thinking and saying at this time. All right. So that is a lot to unpack and cover for this really intense new moon energy. If you want a little bit more help connecting with the Capricorn energy, on my website, if you don't know, I'm also a hypnotherapist. I have a whole series about connecting with the zodiac sign through hypnosis. And so I take you through a really wonderful visual adventure of connecting with the sign of Capricorn. Plus, you can go out and read my article for the new moon in Capricorn and about Capricorn in general. So I'll have the links to that in the comments section down below. Go check those out. I think you'll find it really helpful as you prepare to create your new moon intentions. Remember, you get 10 of them. You want to do them as close to the event as possible, which I think is about 3:30 a.m. technically. So you may want to do them the night before. If you're an early riser on Thursday morning, that's great as well. What other questions do you have for me? You can always put them down in the comments below. I always respond. All right, so that's exciting energy. And then we are going to move on into Friday. And you'll see that in conjunct energy between Uranus and the South Node, it's going to continue for quite some time. In fact, you're going to notice that the South Node and North Node are going to quickly tip into the 19 degree. And then that in conjunct energy is going to be exact between the South Node and Uranus. So there is surprising relationships from the past, and maybe even a past life that will be surprising us. Now, we have to let go of things in the South Node. We have to learn the lesson, but it's not that we have to completely be done with whatever it was. It's just that we have to learn what we needed to learn in order to gain the independence that we're supposed to be focused on during this time. And our focus on this continues all the way to January of next year, when the nodes will shift and move into Pisces and Virgo. Big changes. All right, let's take a look at the information on Saturday, because everything else that we talked about, besides the fact that the moon moves into Aquarius and squares Jupiter, that's a gentle square though, but don't ignore your intuition on Friday, because there may be something it's trying to teach you. On Saturday, what we see is our lovely friend Mercury is going to end its time in Sagittarius and then move back into the sign of Capricorn. So things slow down a bit when Mercury is in Capricorn. Our ideas get more concrete, where they are really big picture in Sagittarius, and things are fun and active and we're super vocal. But when Mercury moves into Capricorn, things start to get much more serious. It's not as fun. There's work that we need to be doing. So you will notice that shift. And then by next week, we'll see Mercury completely out of shadow, which I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to, because Mercury is my ruler. So when it's retrograde, it's very annoying. All right. Enough about me. One last, but oh my goodness, very interesting day, because Sunday, as we end the week, we have a yod. So a yod is formed, and we call this a mission from God, a fated mission, work that you need to do. Shows up for us. And of course, you want to know where this is showing up in your chart as well. So, and Yod is created by two planets that are in conjunct to one point, and it's that one point where you need to do the work, and it is through Uranus, which is retrograde still. Slowing down, but still retrograde. And this is an interesting place to have to do the work, because it says you need to break free from something. So what might that something be? Well, what we have working together here is Venus in Sagittarius attached to the South Node in Libra, which Venus rules. So there can be some relationship with a teacher, a mentor. Sagittarius energy is where I'm getting that from the past. South Node, Libra, we were in some kind of a long-term commitment type of relationship with, potentially. Those two are working together. So you may hear again from somebody from your past. That can be work related or love related, because Venus rules money, not just love. And those are helping you in some way, some weird way, break free from something, which could be career, Taurus, something you thought you loved, but you don't anymore. You could be breaking free from your food addiction, because this is an area where we tend to overindulge on comfort foods. But there is something really important that you're called to do on Sunday. So show up. And I really want to hear how this goes, because at the same time, it's fated. Venus is speaking in harmony with that South Node and the North Node, right? So whatever this Venus topic is for you, and it depends on where this is and what house this is in your chart, it's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. So I can't wait to hear your stories on what ends up happening as a result of this energy. So very exciting to see. And then as we end, you'll also see that at the time of this occurring, the moon's in Pisces, where it totally enjoys being, helps us tune into our emotions and our intuition about whatever's going on. And as it does so, it's adding some energy between Saturn and Jupiter, which are still speaking in a sextile. Mars is moving faster because it's a smaller planet, but it's still close enough to be influential and give you the motivation that you need to make the changes. All right. It looks to be a very, very exciting week ahead. So again, let me know in the comments what's going on for you, what your exciting mission, your fated events end up being. I love hearing your comments. All right. If you want to work with me so that you know specifically where all these exciting events are going to happen, I'll have the link down below where you can set up some time with me and we can go in depth in your chart. All right. Thanks for spending some time with me. I truly appreciate you. Thanks for commenting, liking, subscribing, and sharing my information with someone that you think could benefit from it. All right. Have a great, fantastic week and happy new moon in Capricorn. We'll talk next week.